What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to the two-time 559 Fights Bantamweight Champion and the reigning, defending Sparstar MMA and California State Flyweight Champion. He is the one, the only, Royce Too Smooth Butler. Royce, how are you?
What's up, man? How you doing? I'm doing good.
Doing great, doing great. Glad to have you on. And what a spectacular performance that you had at Sparstar 62 at Commerce Casino this past Saturday. I was lucky enough to be in the house. How are you feeling after your titles win? Right?
Feel good. No complaints. Fight went the way that I planned it to go. Me and the team really prepared for it. Yeah, no injuries. Legs a little sore, but other than that, I'm good.
Did you include like a couple leg kicks or calf kicks? What's the source of the pain?
He landed a couple kicks I didn't check, and then just kicking in general usually it bangs up your legs and stuff.
Oh no, for a fact. I mean, I think, well, first off, like the last couple of years of like calf kicks becoming a thing in MMA, right? So like there's the focal point of that, but it's just a wild one, especially like having I had happened the injuries that both Anderson Silva did at the hands of Chris Weidman, and Chris
Oh
Weidman,
yeah, yeah.
like less than 5 years later, suffers the same fate. And it's just like the fact that like, hey, you can kick as hard as you can. That's cool, bro. But I'm going to take my knee, one of the hardest parts of the body, and I'm gonna just try to deflect it as best we can. And that's wild to me.
Yeah, that kind of scarred me for a little bit, at least for like 6 months. I didn't
Ugh.
want to kick after that. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you talk about 6 months, right? So, like, what was it that brought you into this wild, crazy world of combat sports? Like, did you just always love it? Did you practice, any particular type of martial art? What was it that did it for you?
Well, my dad, he used to box and stuff, and then he learned like MMA, Jeet Kune Do, studied Bruce Lee a lot, and then I just grew up watching Bruce Lee and like WWE, and we always would just fight after like the episode or movie was done. So basically, he brought me in, and then his dad, my grandpa, used to box too back in the army.
No, no
Yeah.
way, no way. I happen to be so I kind of profess myself like a interviewer and podcaster for combat sports, but that does include pro wrestling. I have been fortunate enough to work with Eric Bischoff and Jim Ross and
Oh yeah.
all that jazz. Yeah, yeah. Like Josh Barnett, Josh Alexander, former Impact World Champion. He's been on this very podcast. When you get me and Josh Barnett together, all we do is talk about either metal or wrestling.
Oh, okay. Man, that's
Yeah,
tight.
yeah. Yeah, and for those who don't know, like one thing that I will do is when Royce is talking, I'm going to solo lay out this gentleman, right? And the movie star good looks. You don't necessarily have to see my face. It's if you've seen my face once, no need to see it again. But that's what it is. Um, okay, so here's the thing. So was this like martial arts kind of life, something that your grandfather consciously passed to your dad, and then he passed to you, or was it just like, hey, this is my thing, whatever, and then just by osmosis, your grandfather, your dad takes up, something that your grandfather loved, and then you pick up after your dad.
Yeah, I just found out that my grandpa used to box in the army, but I always knew my dad was into fighting and all that. He grew up fighting and basically taught me how to fight. And then yeah, I just sat on the couch one day. I was watching I forgot what it was. I think it was Cody Garbrandt versus somebody. And I was like, dude, I could beat these guys. That's what I was telling my wife. And then so I just joined the gym and then pursued the career in MMA.
What gym was that, if you don't mind me asking?
The first gym I joined was Elite Fitness, I think it's called. But they're not around anymore since after I
Okay.
dropped it. Yeah, then I went from that to Chimera, then from Chimera to the gym I'm at right now, which is SoCal Fight Factory in East Palmdale.
Okay, right on. Are you guys 661 out there, or?
Yeah, 661.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. I mean, for those who don't know, right? If you live in anywhere like north of LA, I would say like north of San Fernando Valley, all the way up to Fresno. The area code throughout is 661.
Yeah.
Bakersfield, like a bunch of the towns, and so that's funny. I might have a 661 area code number. I've lived in Bakersfield for quite a while, almost a decade. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Nice.
yeah,
Oh, you close by.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the 5 to the 99. I feel like that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, when you start to take up, martial arts and your understanding of it, right? And it's not just your dad's thing. Of course, he peppered in, your influences and everything like that. But like now, it's your thing, right? Does your dad go like, "Oh, that's exactly what I wanted him to do," or was he hesitant, like, "Hey, I've already built my name in this and whatever. I don't need you mudding it up. If you're about this, you got to be about this," because that's the same conversation that Rocky Johnson had with Dwayne or The Rock.
Yeah. No, he's really how you say it, supportive and all that. So he wants me to fight. He gets excited, and then when he watches the fights back, he gets more excited. So he's like really into it. So
That's brilliant, and it's something that you can, love and enjoy from different takes, with each other.
yeah, correct.
So this is where we go down a wormhole, folks. We're not even 10 minutes in, but like pro wrestling, I want to get into that. When did you start watching, and do you have a favorite wrestler, either before or currently?
Dude, pro wrestling when I don't know. I probably watched it when I was like in fourth grade, maybe. I know for
Okay.
sure. Fifth grade, I got really into it. So maybe around fifth and sixth. Don't know what year that is. Let me see. 2004, maybe five.
Okay.
I don't know. Somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
somewhere. So that's like, post. I mean, is Eddie Guerrero around?
Yeah,
That to
Eddie
be that.
Guerrero. My favorite wrestler was Chris Benoit, and then Chris Benoit, Undertaker, and like John Cena. Those were my favorite back in the day.
Oh yeah, I mean, those are some ruthless aggression staples.
Yeah,
And yeah, man, it's weird. So obviously, Taker doing his thing, Cena doing his thing. What
yeah,
ended up with Benoit? Oh, that's kind of
yeah. That was a sad and crazy moment.
yeah, no, 100%. I think it still permeates to this day. There's a like Owen Hart passing away. You're probably too young to know about that, but like that and then the Benoit, I don't think like one death happened at a pay per view, and then the other one like it made the mainstream media news and like was like
Yeah,
a black eye in pro wrestling, obviously because it was a an unalive. I think we can say that unalive
yeah.
situation. Yeah. Wow, that's good, man. That's really cool. So, I mean, you're training at SoCal Fight Factory in East Palmdale. What year does this happen? Like, how old are you when you start training?
So November, it will be 2 years that I've been at SoCal Fight Factory. So I joined 2000 November of 2022, right
Okay.
before like the week before Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And yeah, and I was 29. 29? Yeah, 29.
Now, it's wild, right? Like, uh, people think about the holidays and they're like all the gluttony that they can get into. Like,
Yeah.
what is that? The greens, potatoes, tomatoes, whatever that meat,
Yeah.
right? Right, and everybody's doing that. Everybody's gathering around, like everybody's shedded the summer bod, right? And they're like,
Yeah.
no, we're going to get a little bit more girthy, and family stuff and whatever. And you're like, oh, no, I'm actually going to make myself more fit, more competent as a mixed martial artist. Like, I'm going to do that 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. What kind of ethos was behind that?
Yeah.
That's intriguing.
I was basically like long story short, I was like in the process of switching gyms. So and then I was supposed to be fighting some dude that was 7-0 to defend my 559 belt. So I was kind of in the rush to find a not in the rush to find a gym, but I was in the transition to fighting gym. So I had to fight one before the holidays, and then my buddy Trevor, which my one of my coach Jay, he passed away. But he introduced me to Trevor, and and he was teaching me wrestling. And then Trevor invited me to go to SoCal, and then that's basically how I ended up at SoCal Fight Factory.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And rest in peace, rest in power to your coach. That's a traumatic event for anyone, and especially as someone who's starting their burgeoning career. And it's like at times you just like not everybody. That's a fight, but that's also life. That people don't make it to the end, right? Like everybody, Bret Hart always talks about, man, I thought about, we're going to be all washed up and our legs are going to be all messed up, our knees are going to crack and everything, and there'd be Owen and Benoit and all of these people, Mr. Perfect, all these people that we're going to be able to, have our grandchildren and we're barbecuing and drinking beers like the old days, right? They're telling, war stories. And, the longer you go in your career, the less people make it for one iteration or other. It's not always death, but it just happens,
True. That's so true.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's also kind of crazy, right? So you're already fighting. You've already won championships. And 559, we talked about the 661, 559, Antoine Hood and the rest of the gang at 559. I unfortunately haven't been able to make it up, but right there in Visalia, stone's throw away from Fresno, California, is where 559 literally takes shape. And man, they literally, I mean, I think the hole that was there after Tachi Palace fights, it was like a power vacuum. And I think 559 fights, to me, outside looking in, being here in LA, right, in Southern California, I think all of that with Jeremy and whatever, not whatever, but Jeremy and Antoine and the rest of the gang up there, it's basically filled that hole if you are a young Alex Perez. Like, think about all of the people that fought and came out of Visalia and all of that, like that Kern County, Fresno, kind of contingent and whatever, and fought for Tachi Palace, right?
Yeah.
Where do all those guys and girls go?
Yeah.
Well, 559 fights. That's where they
true.
go.
Yeah. That's true.
So,
I think Alex Perez is in the UFC, right? That's who you're talking about?
Yeah, Alex Perez is in UFC. He trains with Team Oyama down in Orange County. I feel like close to Mesa. Yeah. Great guy. I saw him not too long ago. But So you're one-time bantamweight champ at this point, or were you two-time, and now you got to find a gym?
Wait, say that one more time. What's the import?
When you won the two 559 titles at bantamweight, you had already beaten. You had already competed for both of them, or just one of them, as you're trying to get your gym stuff together. Yeah.
I won the belt and I defended it once.
So
does that make me two-time or one-time?
I don't know.
Two-time, right?
That's actually, you know what? I
think it's two-time.
Yeah, it is two-time, right?
Yeah.
But this is where like my wrestling and MMA brain just like, if it's like throwing water into a robot and malfunction, right? Because I'm all like, okay, so I remember Mighty Mouse was complaining because they weren't giving him each belt every time he defended a championship, right?
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then especially now in latter day UFC, you have the legacy belt where you get a ruby every time you defend your title, which is kind of off to me, but that's just me. But imagine if we counted titles in MMA or in pro wrestling like we did in MMA, right? So every time you would defend, that would make Ric Flair not 16-time world champion, 830,000-time champion. Like,
yeah, that's true.
It gets ridiculous. Yeah. So, but I feel like in MMA speak, yes, two-time battle because you won it. That's one, and then the second one, and again, using the rubric of Mighty Mouse. Yeah, the second time, you are defending that title. That
Yeah.
makes you two-time. Whether you get a belt or not, that's up to the promotion, but you at least have the one belt that you keep defending.
Yeah, I just have the one belt. I didn't get another belt, just that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
able actually when you win the belt, you have to defend it and you have to be successful to keep the belt. If not, I think it's like $350 if I'm not mistaken. If you want
Yeah,
to buy it and keep it or whatnot.
I hear that too. And it's funny how each promotion does it. And again, that's one of the things that I personally like about, going to different shows and everything like that, because every everyone there is basically painting and sculpting their love letter to this combat sports in a community, right? And
Yeah.
everything is done on canvas, right? Like the timekeepers do their thing, the refs do their thing, and they have their way about doing it. The coaches, they have their way. The fighters, they have their way about about the photographers, every interviewer, everybody, right?
Yeah.
We pull all of our collective resources for this one night, and magic happens, right? So like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I feel that, but also as it relates to the title, some amateur promotions will call themselves their championships world titles. And I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or whether you get the belt or not. And I get it. I mean, for a show, a regional show of any deal, amateur or pro, to give the championship a $300 token every time, like that
Yeah.
gets costly really
Pricey too.
quick,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
That's expensive.
So yeah, but again, imagine it in wrestling speak, because we can talk about these contexts now because Endeavor or TKO, right, is the
Hmm.
parent company of both WWE and UFC. It's all one. It's
Oh
all
yeah.
melded together.
That is true.
Yeah. So, anyway, as you're, what stress did you have as you're defending your title and everything, and having to transition gyms? Right, fight week, normal fights, normal championship fights have their own kind of anxiety that it induces in a fighter, right?
Yeah.
But then you add a little bit more, right? What's that whole process like?
Um, I don't really get nervous like that, but I talked to my coach Jay about it, and then he introduced me to Trevor. Trevor introduced me to Renee, who owns SoCal Fight Factory, and then I trust my coach about going there and staying there and training there and pursuing my career and with that gym. So, so that's what I did, and then I'm successful so far.
Yeah,
And
man.
yeah,
And I mean, it seems like the wins are going to keep coming. I feel like that's right.
yeah, I just feel like I'm just not even scratching the surface. I feel like I'm getting way better. And the great thing is, like, I still have a lot more to show. I didn't show everything. I just showed at least a little bit of what I got.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was actually having a conversation with somebody outside of combat sports today, right? With that same kind of ethos, right? Because when you win, right? Like, yes, you had a game plan or whatever, but like, what is that? The Michael Chandler, right? The Tony Ferguson, kick from hell.
Oh
You
yeah,
remember that, right?
yeah, I remember
And he's
that.
like, yeah, I was like, I don't even train those kicks. Like it just happened, right? And when
That's
you're like,
wild. Yeah.
yeah, and then you're like, then what were you planning? Like that's it, right? But if you lose, right,
Hmm.
like you learn. I've talked to people for years and who learn more from losses because it overtakes you. You become
Yeah.
obsessed of the thing, and you know MMA is all combat sports. There's a game of not even inches, like millimeters, milliseconds, all of that, right?
Yeah.
And you could be on top of the world and then just eat all types of the shit, and you're like, what? Wait, what happened? And you fester and fester. But you take that if the art of mixed martial artists, you take that into the gym on Monday, assuming that there isn't any medical things that prevent you from going to the gym, and you will train and train and train, and you'll tell your teammates that have fights and whatever, look out for that. That caught me, blah blah blah, whatever. And because of that one mistake, the whole gym gets better, and that person doesn't fall is subject to that move, whatever it may be, again, again.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, because usually if something don't go our way, the whole gym kind of gets in trouble. Not in trouble, but like we practice that so it doesn't happen again.
No, man. What is it? Yeah, position over submission, right? Like,
Yeah,
perfection. You just got to drill, bro.
that's true.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, we're, what is it, 48 hours, 72 hours after the fight and what have you.
Yeah.
Do you know what's next for you? Have you thought it out? I mean, have you gone to the gym? What's next?
I haven't been back to the gym. Supposed to go back, but they kind of suspended me for 7 days, so I'm just chilling. I think my coach was saying something about maybe Idaho, October 10th, but not 100% sure. And I don't know. I haven't really talked to him. I sent him a couple of text messages here and there, but I haven't really talked to him about fighting. So I don't think he got a fight. So hopefully I could be back in Sparstar maybe November. I don't remember
Yeah,
the date. November 16th or 14th, something like that. Hopefully I'm back in
absolutely.
LA.
And you know what's wild, right? Because when you won the title, I don't know if you knew or not, but there was a little bit increased presence, right? That of California State Athletic Commission, better known as CSAC, right? Because Sparstar now is a pro amateur where there's both amateur and professional. So
Yeah.
you have the best of both worlds, win a Sparstar, amateur title or state title, whatever, and then just kind of you graduate up to Sparstar or even Combate Global, which is an option too, because it's Tony Padilla. Hell yeah, shout out
Yeah.
to Tony Padilla, right? But yeah, it's just the opportunities, right? And you basically were able to, show your trade, show your craft, you know, arguably, I mean, I've been doing this 8 years. That was the biggest Sparstar show that they've ever done.
That was, yeah. The first pro am show. Yeah. And I was kind of blessed to be on like the pro card. So one of the pros to fight. So I'm thankful for that.
You etched your name in history. The same.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, as you were, preparing, right? We can kind
hmm
of talk about it now because we're away from it. But I mean, what was your initial game plan that you had going into it?
Going into the fight.
Yeah,
Um, I think he's a brown belt. I'm not 100% sure, but I heard that he might be a brown belt. So basically, keep it standing. I'm taller than him. I'm faster. I feel like I was stronger. Just keep him at the end of the jab, catch him with the two. Basically, just play my game. My game is like the distance game. I can actually find the inside too, but you know, I haven't really showed my striking, so I really wanted to display my striking and show them that I could strike, and I am like the best striker in California. So I feel like I delivered, and yeah, we worked a lot too on takedown defense and getting back up, basically all the bad positions, and I feel like that actually helped out a lot. And yeah, so that's how we got the result.
no, I love it, man. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Uh,
Yeah.
do you? I mean, again, as an mixed martial artist, right?
hmm
Have you wanted to supplement it with like maybe competing in jiu-jitsu or taking a Muay Thai fight here and there, or is it just like pro MMA? That's the goal. I know where I want to be.
Well, I did Muay Thai before I did MMA, and then I did 5 fights, 6 fights, and then actually I wasn't doing a couple jiu-jitsu tournaments before this fight, but I don't know. I just didn't have time, or I don't know what happened, but it just kind of slipped through. Basically slipped through. We wasn't able to get any jiu-jitsu matches.
No, I mean it happens. Oh, that's me, and nobody wants to see me. I feel like that's right. Uh, wait. Oh, Royce he backed out. He didn't back out. I hit the wrong button. My bad. No, but that's a risky proposition, especially going into a fight, right? With like
Yeah.
real tangible, like not just dollars, but like there's a lot of equity built into it, right? And we saw it in Quintet, right? Sakuraba's grappling organization, right?
hmm
Where Cub Swanson was out for a year because of the injury that he sustained. I mean, it was I can't remember, something leggy, whatever, broke it, something, whatever, or could. I'm not great with anatomy. It could have been the leg, could have been the shoulder. In my
Okay.
head,
Yeah.
it all relates. But
Okay.
even still, you know, I think Khalil Ranchi was on Rogan, right? And he was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna I lived out in Thailand. I was training Thai boxing and whatever. And my Muay Thai is really good, and I'm thinking about doing a really competitive jiu-jitsu tournament." And Rogan's like, almost like a la the come to Jesus moment that he had with Brendan Schaub, like, "Bro, you're not an elite fighter," whatever. He didn't dare say that to Khalil Ranchi, but he was just like, "Look at what happened to Cub Swanson, a year out of his career, where he's already like north of his mid-30s, like,
Yeah.
and to do that, it's risky, super risky, because people are just trying to take your head in, and they're maybe, just maybe, it's not as regulated, right? There
Yeah.
might be people taking extra supplements,
That's true.
you know? Right.
That is
So
true.
if you get bulldogged, just like steamrolled over by somebody that's just like, juice to the gills, that Canelo horse meat, you know, yeah, it could be a real problem for the rest of your career.
That is true. I haven't thought about it like that.
I can't believe I was the Rogan here in this
Yeah.
particular. No, I mean, obviously, listen to your coaches. Whatever your coaches feel, they've gotten you to this echelon, right? And
Yeah.
it's draped in gold. So, I mean, that's it. It's a thought. It's a thought. That's it. But if your coaches say, if Renee is all like, do that, do that, because he's already proven himself to you and your career.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not saying I like risk, but I like the challenge. See if I could beat somebody on steroids or whatever in jiu-jitsu match.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, it's funny because uh, Demetrius Johnson, we talked a lot about it, right? I mean, you're a
Uh,
flyweight champion, and that arguably on most people's, as of right now, as we speak now, that is most people's flyweight goat, right? For good reason,
yeah.
right?
True.
But he retired from pro MMA, and now he's doing jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
And I think, and he didn't sustain a whole lot, like he kept himself healthy all throughout, whatever. And now he could just focus on that. And he, was most recently a part of a place and an organization that thrives on different types of, combat sports being at the center. There's Muay Thai fights on the same fights as pro MMA fights, as amateur MMA, as, submission jiu-jitsu. Mike Messimucci, one of the, biggest jiu-jitsu practitioners in the world, is under contract, a talent contract with one. Not even doing striking or anything like that. He's just,
Okay.
prototypical.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I know what you're about.
So
That's the one with the curly hair. With the wears
no,
glasses.
I think that's the Rotolo guys.
Mikey or something.
Well, there's Messamucci. He's got the glasses. He's the one. If you're relating it to gimmicks, he's the one that eats pizza all day, every day.
Dang, I don't remember.
Okay. No, this dude is wild. He's a young. I say young because I'm pushing 40. I'm nearing 40, but definitely younger than me, right? And essentially, like, this guy just eats pizza. He trains all day, almost like the Donahue Death Squad, Gordon Wright
Yeah.
type deal. Like, and I can't remember his origins, where he trains at or whatever, but he essentially just like trains and eats pizza. Now, it's not like he's eating Domino's or anything like that. He has you know, he prepares his own pizza, makes his own dough, whatever.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, yeah, and you know, buffalo mozzarella and all that jazz and whatever. And I believe he is of Italian descent. So like he knows where to go, and that's all he does. It's like jujitsu and pizza, jujitsu and pizza, jujitsu and pizza.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm somebody else then.
Okay,
I don't think
well,
he's
I mean,
Italian. Yeah.
yeah, but again, he's making a pretty substantial amount of money just competing for one organization as a jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Wow.
Yeah, that is wild.
Dude, the world that we are in now in terms of combat sports, early on in my career, people were like, you got to just talk about wrestling, or you just got to talk about MMA. Can't conflate the two; they're different. Blah blah blah. Well, again, two biggest organizations in many people's eyes are WWE and UFC. They're one company, right? Before tournaments like what was the one that they bloody had? Metamoris, where Josh Barnett versus Dean Lister, like that was like the outside of the ADCC and whatever. Like that was like the preeminent like money jiu-jitsu thing. This is before Subversive and Fight to Win or whatever, or even if they existed, those two promotions existed, like they weren't as prominent as they are now. Now
Yeah.
you can make money, serious money, just being a jiu-jitsu practitioner and going from competition to competition to competition to competition. You're fighting super fights, which is kind of wild because you're a fighter. You fight all of the things, right?
Yeah, that's
When
true.
other people are like, I do one thing and I'm a fighter. You're a specialist. You're a practitioner. But until you get, do you really want to be a fighter? I don't know, but that's just my personal deal. I watch all the hate comments. Oh, are you stupid? The white
Yeah.
belts. What are you talking about? I'm gonna get so much hell. But it's a
Oh,
wild world, right? Like you can
yeah.
do whatever you want, right? Like, okay, cool, man. Like I like jujitsu, but it's a little bit too slow pace for me and a gi, whatever. Cool. There's no gi, right? Oh wait, but I like no gi, but I wish there was, these situations that I'm in and we're stalling. It's so unrealistic, whatever. Like what if somebody like slapped me in my solar plexus or whatever, or slap me in the face, or whatever. It would stop me from, playing all of these catch games and sitting in a position or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Well,
right.
there's combat jiu-jitsu, and you probably figured that out for you. Like
Oh, yeah, I
it,
did see a clip of that. That one's pretty wild. That
it's
one,
wild.
yeah, yeah, that one's wild.
It's wild. And then you got Power Slap over here and BKFC over there, and like this. I mean, there hasn't been more of a cornucopia of like combat sports as there is right now. I mean, this was just like Mexican Independence Day weekend, right? We had the UFC Noche slash Sphere slash Ridia season, all of it.
Yeah.
Because
I
why?
was kind of mad I missed that UFC fight, but then I heard the co-main and main event wasn't that good, so it was all good.
Yeah, and nothing against it. I actually shared a meme, I think yesterday or the day before, about the stats between Marab and and
O'Malley.
I'm going to call him Marab because there's no way I can pronounce that. I don't have the phonetics to. Uh,
Yeah.
see, tried it. No, we're going to
Yeah, I
walk
don't know
away
his
from
last
this
name
one.
either.
Yeah, and Bilal Muhammad, right? And
Oh,
for a
okay.
guy,
Yeah.
who's like, remember my name, they literally have the lowest stats in terms of finish rates between the both of them than any other champion in UFC history.
Yeah, I think what's his name? Mohammed only have like what one finish in the UFC, I think. Is it one?
I mean, it's close. Yeah, I mean it's definitely close to one.
Yeah.
And not one championship. It's definitely close to one, and it's so wild, right? Like, and too smooth. We look at you, smooth, right? That
Yeah.
fits. I can get with that. It's not hard to understand. But when you're like 50K Dan Ige and has only gotten one 50K bonus in the UFC, and you're like,
Yeah.
remember my name or remember thy name, and do nothing to make people remember you. Like you're in the same organization that Ronda Rousey and Brock Lesnar drew money. The wild man that is John Jones, Conor McGregor, the Diaz brothers,
That's true.
all of it. And remember thy name with like one finish.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. Yeah,
It's
that's like
wild.
a big opportunity too. So you can make a lot of money in the UFC especially being a champion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
big
not
opportunity.
not just that, right? Because like you got to remember TKO, right, is the kind of like I don't want to say it's the plaything, but like Aria Manuel, right, who headed up Endeavor, right? William
Okay.
Morris Endeavor, right? That's like the long-standing Hollywood, talent agency. You know, going back to like the silver screen. Like I don't know if Marilyn Monroe, whatever, but like stars of that era were attached to that agency, and that Aria Manuel, who crazy enough is the genesis and the love child of which Jeremy Piven's character in Entourage.
Okay.
Right? If you That was based on the guy who privately bought the UFC and WWE.
Okay. Yeah, I
And
didn't know that.
yeah, it's wild, right? So like, not just you can make a lot of money in the UFC, you can make a lot of money in the WWE, but what other opportunities outside of combat sports that it can open up, right? Like
Yeah.
I often tell people, like, you are the CEO of your company, right? It's
That's
up to
true.
you and what you do that determine whether it's a multi-billion-dollar asset. Because look, Vince McMahon, that's a rough one to go into the weeds with. But again, took a regional promotion in the Northeast that his grandfather started, or you had tentacles in, and then his dad, he brought it even further, and now he has it. He bought it on not his dad's deathbed, but he bought it in '83 or whatever, and
Yeah.
made it a multi-billion-dollar company, publicly traded stock within 40 years of purchasing it. You know,
Okay.
that Dana White was Chuck Liddell's manager, right? He's
Yeah.
Chuck Liddell's manager, and there was a big money fight, whatever, and they asked for this much. And SEG, who owned the UFC at the time, were like, we can't pay that. We can't pay that. So Dana goes to his friends, the Fertitta brothers, who they grew up together in high school in Vegas or whatever. It's like, UFC's for sale. Let's buy it. And for
That's
like
pretty. That's crazy.
$4 million, and within 20 years, $2.8 billion is what it sold for in 2016.
That's wild.
You
It's
don't have
major
to be a
profit.
Yeah, you don't have to be a fight fan to understand that. Like, I'm surprised like economics teachers aren't doing more kind of like classes based on the UFC and whatever, state athletic commissions, and like all, like, it's so wild if you really look at it. And it's literally in regards to MMA, the fastest growing sport in the world.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, man.
it grew a lot since I was in high school. I remember, I think I was watching. I think it was Rampage, and the Civil was like top of their game. And then the way it is now, it actually grew a lot. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think it is the fastest growing sport in America or
yeah.
global actually.
It's global, and when you think about it, right? So there was the game of football before NFL. There was the game of basketball before the NBA. There was the game of hockey before the NHL, right? There
Okay.
was soccer or football before, MLS, or Europe League, and Mexican League and all that stuff like that. But for many people, right, MMA begins and ends with the UFC. And you can make an argument that Pride also, because Pride was doing big numbers. They were selling out, soccer stadiums in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Saitama Super Arena, whatever, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 people, whatever. But you can make an argument either way, because Pride and UFC started within like months of each other, within 6 months of each other. And to
Okay.
get it where it's now,
Yeah. Yeah, it's mind blowing.
yeah. So, I mean, obviously, with all the things that are kind of like at your, I don't want to say disposal, but at your fingertips, right? Do you have aspirations of like, like where you want to be? Do you want to do the UFC route? Do you want to go one championship? Do you want to make your way through like the ranks of the LFAs and such, and then earn your spot? Like, have you thought about
Um,
it?
but right now I'm signed with Combate Global. I got like 3 more fights on my contract, but I'm really pushing to try to go to the UFC. So that's what I'm in the gym for, training and trying to get there. Because that's where like it's like everybody's dream as a fighter to go to UFC or ONE FC. But I think my dream is the UFC.
Now, I love that dream. I'm a firm believer of like make your shoot for the moon. Even if you fall short, you land amongst the stars, right?
Right.
So the bigger the dream, the more levity that you have to do it. And even if you fall short, you're still there. You're still light years ahead of what you would without setting those big goals, right?
Right.
So the thing about it is, could could I just tweak it a little bit?
Yeah.
So everybody that does this, most people, 90% of people that do MMA and what have you, they want to be in the UFC.
Yeah.
But let's solidify it a little bit more. Let's a little further, right? Not only do you want to be in the UFC, hey, make your words soft and sweet. Like, what if you are top 15, right? What
Yeah.
if you're featured in the UFC video game?
Yeah.
Like,
That'd be
let's
pretty dope.
let's do those. Let's do that. Like, and it's because that's one thing that I've heard. It's like, people go like, I don't want to make it to the UFC, and then sometimes it doesn't work out, and they have to course correct, or they get there, and after amassing an incredible like double digit victory, like record, right? In
Yeah.
the win column, right? And they get there and then something happens
That's
and
true.
just kind of fall short. And it's just like,
Yeah.
what could have been? What could have been? So I just want to tweak it a little bit. Let's do that right here. And positive affirm it. I want Royce Butler to be on the cover of the UFC video game. I want him to be in a fight, and it can happen. A la, TJ Dillashaw and Joe Bad Mofo Soto, where Soto was literally like a curtain jerker. Maybe the first fight, whatever, things fell out. Henan Brow didn't make weight, whatever. And
Hmm.
guess what? Joe Soto is fighting TJ Dillashaw for the bantamweight title.
Yeah.
That can happen.
That's true.
So
Wow. Yeah.
So, so for me, uh, I want you to be on the cover of the UFC, and not just you, like everybody that wants to do this, right? I want to see you as champion. You've already tasted what championships look like and feel like and smell like, and the parties and the congratulatory messages and everything. Well, imagine how much bigger it can get.
Yeah. True.
This is
Yeah.
where I. This is where I become Paul Heyman. I'm like, yeah, but yeah, no, it's awesome. Um, so when you're not training, obviously you're taking a bit of a sabbatical, and it's good to kind of recalibrate your brain, your body, everything like that. After going
Hmm.
through the fight camp and everything like that. But like, what are you getting into? Are you like just relaxing? Are you getting into movies? Are you listening to music? What's the deal with Too
Um.
Smooth Butler?
Well, after this fight camp, actually, I went to go see. Dang, what movie did we see? We saw the Wolverine, and me and my wife went to go see Wolverine and Deadpool. I don't know the name of
Okay.
it. I think that's the name of it. And then we just watched The Trap. That was pretty good. And then right now I'm just working on the car. So after the interview, I'm just going to the garage, work on my drift car, get that thing ready to hit the events next month. Yeah, that's about it really. So if I'm not fighting, I'm either drifting, dirt bike riding, paintballing, playing some video games, hanging out with the family. Yeah, I have a
Oh
lot of
my god,
hobbies.
you remind me of like Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah, a
It's
little bit. Just yeah,
that's, that's great though.
yeah.
And then the fact that you've found an avenue and an outlet to do that, because like I mean, for me, I can only speak for myself. Like I didn't start doing this until I was like into my well, not into my 30s, but like early 30s, right? But
Okay.
I had good jobs, whatever, but they weren't right for me. I never felt right that I wasn't replaceable, right? It wasn't until
Yeah.
this I was like, I'm as good or as bad as any of my contemporaries that have been doing it 5, 10, 20 years or just starting today. And encouraging them as they've encouraged me, right? But
Right.
the fact that you have so many outlets, right? Like that's, sometimes like idle hands are the enemy, right? When you're
Yeah.
not doing anything, that's when you get in the most trouble. So like the fact that you're a fighter here and you work on cars and you drift and everything and all of it competitive. And that's those are parts of your personalities that you get to exercise. There are a lot of people
Yeah.
that make a lot of money that sit behind, desks and cubicles and whatever, and they're unfulfilled. Get into bad things, or go
Yeah.
into bad places in their mind and their heart and soul because they can't express it. And you figured it out.
Yeah. I've always been active ever since I was young. So I don't like sitting around. I like to get up and do stuff. Unless it's like at night. At night, I'll sit down and play the game all night. But like during the day, I want to be outside, enjoying the fresh air, and just chilling, hanging out, doing what I love.
No, 100%. Now, are you an Xbox guy or a PlayStation guy?
I'm a PlayStation guy, but I am trying to convert over to PC.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get a PC before GTA 6 comes out. So that's my yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you do the online stuff or?
Yeah, I play strictly online.
Oh man, you are braver than me, good sir.
Yeah. Call of Duty is my strong suit though.
Okay.
Yeah.
O-
That's
Okay.
what I'm actually really good at. Is Call of Duty.
Well, it improves your cognitive ability, man. Like I'll try to do the first person shooters, like whatever, and it doesn't work. I can never get the gun to line up. The sight, it's bad. It's really bad. Like I have an Xbox only to play that year's UFC, WWE, and then
Okay.
like 3 years ago Madden's or 2Ks because you can go to GameStop and get them for $1. Like, yeah, like, yeah, I'll just do that, whatever. But kudos to you for playing online. That's a whole big thing. That's something that I personally do not engage in. I work a job, had a family, whatever, doing the thing,
Yeah.
whatever. The hell I'm going to get shit talked to by an 8-year-old that is homeschooled and playing this for 10 hours of the day, whatever, and I'm going to pay a service to do that?
Yeah, that's true.
No, that's
Yeah.
rough. I mean, but you figured it out. Like me, I'm just like, nah. My ego is just like, nah. Where, where's your You better have a VPN, kid. Like, we're fighting now.
Yeah. Yeah, the little kids are pretty toxic on that game.
Yeah, man,
Yeah, you
it's
just can't
it's
get
wild.
let them get the best of you. You got to beat them.
But I
Yeah.
mean, like, have you seen some of we've talked about him ad nauseum, but Mighty Mouse, right? Who also streams, right? And
Yeah.
ha- have you seen some of his like streaming stuff? Like he opened up his YouTube channel
Um,
not too long ago.
I not really his streaming stuff. I've seen a little bit of the clips. I've seen like Sean O'Malley streaming Call of Duty and stuff like that, but not really Mighty Mouse. I've seen clips of like him getting happy of winning. There was one clip, him winning a UFC belt. He was like, "Oh, okay," and then but he won in some game. He was like super excited, more excited than winning the UFC belt. I don't know if you've seen that clip.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and what an alpha male. It's like a half alpha male, half Napoleon complex. Where he's like,
Yeah.
yay high, and like I've only been around him once. One championship did have like a media event in like downtown LA a few years back before lockdown and everything. And like it was like him, Sage Northpat, Rich Franklin, because Rich Franklin was in the office there at one. But
Okay.
yeah, he's like maybe 5'2", whatever, but all bits
Yeah.
the alpha, like so alpha male, like. But he talks the most shit, and the best ones that I've seen, the best clips that I've seen that I enjoy the most, is those kids talking shit to him,
Yeah. I
and then
gotta check it out. I
whatever,
haven't seen those.
yeah, and then he like realizes, like he basically unveils who he is,
Yeah.
and the kids go, yeah, dude, it's so great,
Oh
so great.
yeah, I gotta check
Uh,
it out.
Yeah, no, definitely. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things that you have done, in this fight camp and preparation and what have you, right? But like, man, food is awesome. Especially like living in Southern California, we've got the best food from everywhere. Best Greek
Yeah.
food, best Mexican food, El Salvadorian, all of it, just great, right? And you have to abstain from this for this period of time in your fight camp. and also cutting weight, right? So,
Right.
what did the victory meal look like?
What did I have? I think I just had buffalo boneless wings. That's about it. Or boneless buffalo. Oh yeah, boneless buffalo strips. That's all I had.
Okay, that's not bad.
Usually I don't really. I kind of calm down on eating buffalo stuff, hot stuff. I usually eat hot Cheetos and hot stuff all the time, but it's not good for you. So my wife kind of like weaned me off all that stuff. So I don't really eat hot stuff that much anymore. So I didn't want to eat that before the fight. So I had it after the fight.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
Bro, I mean, I'm half black, half Fijian, and I grew up with a lot of curry, which is
Okay.
very spicy, and
Yeah,
the
spicy food.
chutney. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. I'm
Yeah.
retired, bro. I pay for it so bad. Like my insides feel inflamed and whatever. And I was that dude, like hot Cheetos, lemon, whatever,
Yeah.
like all acid,
Can't do it
all
no more.
acid. Cannot do it anymore. So
Yeah.
it's a wide for your longevity, not just in fight, but like your entire career. That's a good move. It's a good move. Shout out to your wife for
Yeah.
weeding off.
Yeah. Shout out to her.
Yeah. So, and I gotta ask, the boneless option. I mean, was that because there was no bones, or
Nah, I don't like chicken with bones. I don't like all that little what's it called, gristle, fat and all that. I don't like chewing all that stuff. So I like chicken breast, and then we're good.
this is we're gonna be friends? I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same way, same way. Which I mean, it at family functions, it sucks. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, I get
you
made
know.
fun of a lot, but it is what it is.
But how many of the people making fun of you are badass and winning championships all around?
Yeah, they're not doing that.
And yeah, you got that one on it. Just saying, just saying. But yeah, no. Do you have a reason why?
Why I I don't know. I just prefer chicken breast over all that
Okay,
stuff. Cause like I don't know. I don't like thinking about. I don't know. Like say it's been a while since I had chicken on the bone. I will eat it if it's like there, but I won't order it or anything.
O-
I barely ever eat it though. But
okay.
I for sure wouldn't order it.
No, I mean, I'm with it. I'm the same way. Yeah, I mean, you've told a lot about yourself, and I'm so grateful for it. So I'll give you a tell. So I wasn't originally from LA, right? We came
Okay.
here when I was about 9 or what have you, and we wanted to see all the spots. So like our family would go and take me, my mom, and my sister all around. One of the spots, Venice Beach, right?
Okay.
And this is like '95, and uh, there was the PETA, the uh, people for ethical treatment of animals and whatever, right?
Yeah.
They had a table, just like a regular card table, full of all the messed up things that happened to all the animals and everything like that, right?
Okay.
So that gets downloaded in my 9, 10-year-old brain, right? Then we go to the house, right? And like it was a bunch of us in the house, right? Like all my mom's reaching inside the family. There's like 10 of us in the house, right? And what do you do when you've got all those people? Well, curry chicken, right? Because you can get
Okay.
like 20 pounds of it for $20. It's very like $30. You can feed 10 people every night, right?
Okay.
So, so I was a fat kid. So I would go and then think about like a tamale prep full of curry, and I would just go and get half the pot. Didn't give a shit. I was an asshole, fucking asshole. Uh, and then one day, my cousin was hip to it, and this is like grown cousin has wife and kid, whatever, whatever. He starts going buck, 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 on the same day, whatever. And in my head, I equated that to the shit that I saw earlier in the day at the pita table, and that was it. So gristle or whatever, I can't even see meat being prepared. I'm out.
Okay. That's how I was when I was younger.
Okay.
Yeah. It's brought up a memory. That's how I was when I was younger. Now I can see meat getting prepared and depending what it is though. If it's like regular steak and all that, no goat, none of that other animal stuff. Chicken, beef, that's it.
There you go, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
I
with
think
it.
I don't eat pork anymore either. So no pork, chicken and beef.
Same,
That's it.
same. I mean,
Yeah.
I will get down on some bacon, but like it just has to be there. I won't order the bacon by itself or a pork
Yeah,
chop.
well, yeah, same here. I won't order it. If my kids
Yeah,
got it, I might take a little bite of it, but that's about it.
that's about it. Well, speaking about things that are it, obviously, going into this fight camp, like
Hmm.
a lot of people were sacrificing themselves, and you were sacrificing yourself, right?
Right.
Can't go to parties, can't do this, can't do that. You're always training, being the ardent mixed martial artist that you are, right? But to make those type of sacrifices, you had a throng of support at your side. So, yeah, if you don't mind, take as long as you like. I want you to get some shout outs out of the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shout out to first my beautiful wife. She's the one that I feel like sacrificed the most because I'm never really home during the week. I work 5 to 3, and then after that I go to the gym. I don't get home until like 9:30, and then I'm right back to bed. So shout out to her. Shout out to my kids, family, everybody that was there. Basically, is family. They're all pretty close to me. They all know me personally, and yeah, like that makes it worth fighting for and put on a good show and to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm sacrificing the time now to like take care of everybody later. So that's um that's the goal. And I forgot the rest of the question. What was the question?
Oh,
Oh, you
shout
said shout
outs.
outs. You said shout
You
outs.
got some sponsors. I feel like that's
Yeah.
right.
Shout out to G10, Custom Coating and Vinyl, Happy Hour. Dang, I'm not gonna remember everybody. Tara Oates, she's a realtor. Um, dang. Uh, Parker Photography, that's my boy. He does photography. So if you guys are near the Antelope Valley, hit him up. Diamond Hospitality, they do Airbnbs. They got a bunch of Airbnbs in California. So you need a place to stay, you're traveling, you want a comfy home, hit them up. Who else is on the shorts? My gym's on the shorts, so shout out to SoCal Fight Factory. Um, for taking me in and molding me into the fighter that I am, helping me get all these championships, and they're family too. They put all the information in me, and then they have trust in me to go in there to do what they know I'm capable of doing. And if anybody in Aloe Valley, or I drive 50 minutes to the gym, 50 minutes to an hour. So if you guys are an hour away, you need a good gym. SoCal Fight Factory is a gym to go to. I'll be there. I'm there basically Monday through Friday, and we have a lot of other pro fighters and a lot of amateurs that are there, and we're all just growing together. What else? Oh, and then Logistics Beauty Supply. They're they have all the hair product, so I get all my stuff to do my braids. So yeah, if you're in Cal City, they're right there by the Primos. And what else? Holy Scripture Church. That's the church I go to. Getting me closer to God and basically having Him shine through me and to show everybody that there's still love and good in the world and try to get everybody closer to God. And I think the last one is Amber Shift. That's my wife. She has she does a bunch of stuff. She does signs. Anything you could think of, she's very creative and she can make it. She makes essential oils that helps me out during fight camp when I'm have an injury, have a headache, whatever. We don't really have any medication here, so we all use essential oils. She's the one that helped me with my. She basically we all eat healthy, clean here, so we don't have any. Basically, all the food that we have, we've been eating clean for 2 years now, so we barely go out to eat, and we look at every ingredient. So she's the main drive in that to make sure that I'm in fight camp all year long, going strong in that. Uh, I think that was everybody on the shorts. I hope I'm not forgetting somebody.
Here's what I'm gonna do. You send me the links. I will put them in the description here.
Okay,
So
like their Instagram.
yeah,
Okay,
DM me through Instagram and whatever, and then I'll put it
okay,
in the description of the video.
sounds
So,
good.
and this lives forever. So yeah, thank you guys for commenting. And I actually, whoa, we got comments. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. This is so dumb. Anyone but want to take
Oh,
a
I see
bet?
him
I
now.
take Butler. Yes. Yo. And then Big Royce, not on the little one. Don't hurt him, Cuzzo. Yeah, chemical. I forgot about this tab. It's been so long since I've
Oh yeah, I
done one
see
of
all the
these.
comments popping up right now.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that here. Ron, shout out to Ron and Chemical Julian. Left, right, good night. There you go. That's
There you
it.
go.
And I
Tight.
think
That's a good
that's
thing right there.
yeah. That needs to be on a fight shirt. Consider.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
them.
No, but bro, thank you for joining us here, and thank you guys for joining us here. And for those who haven't already done so, where can they find you on social media, good sir?
Um, I'm on IG, the real underscore RB3. So it's basically Royce Butler the third. So the real underscore RB3. And I think my Facebook is just Royce Butler, I believe.
There you go. And this podcast is actually not just on Facebook, but I mean, not just on YouTube, but on Facebook as well. Also, Twitch, there's a thing. It's a multi stream. That's what we do here. It's like a multiverse kind of deal. But obviously, uh, thank you for joining us here. Man, this has been pretty cool. This is really cool.
Yeah.
But if you haven't already done so, go ahead and follow this guy. And if
Thank you.
you're feeling, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I followed you. You guys should too. It's a fun follow. You'll see somebody at the pinnacle of success. Yeah, right. Like, and
Thank
you
you.
get to be there on the ground up. Yeah, Mr. Too Smooth equals too easy. There you go. Yeah, you make it easy.
Boy,
Just
Matt.
shut up. There you go. Uh, but if you also feel inclined, right? I might be
Yeah.
this guy, according to Woods, and I might have a podcast that you could see some of the luminaries in combat sports and just in random bits of life, right? If you would like to, I would love for you to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, right? And Royce, you subscribe to the podcast, don't you?
Yes. I think I did, but I'll make sure after this video that I subscribe.
Yeah. So if Royce Too Smooth Butler is subscribing to the podcast, I think you should too. But if you don't believe me and you don't believe Royce, and I don't know why you wouldn't, well, here's pro wrestler Zeta Zhang to help convince you.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure you subscribe to According to Woods YouTube.